I will just quickly share my slides. Here we go. So first of all, thank you all for joining today. My name is Katalin. I am a VP of Product Management for FintechOS, and I'm in charge of our banking vertical. And for context, FintechOS is a financial services technology company that is looking to massively accelerate digital transformation of incumbent banks, and in the meantime bring about a paradigm shift in the way they financial services institutions interact with their customers. And I will focus my short presentation on, as Luca said, on talking a little bit about customer centricity and how can that be brought about via technology, and how we've done that at FintechOS, and what insights we gathered from the market while doing that. So I will try to give a 4-pillar based framework on how we approach customer centricity for SME banking to keep things structured. And the 4 pillars are personalization, automation, integrating with the SME ecosystem to bring about value-added services, and last but not least, how do we use technology to bring about the first 3 pillars, so personalization, automation, and value-add services. And I will deep dive into these and then make references to the research we've conducted and some of the examples that Sue has mentioned. So first of all, talking about personalization, I'm actually going to detract a little bit from the materials I've presented and rely a little bit more on what Sue and Tunde discussed, because I think it was very, very interesting content. So when we talk about personalization, I think the first step to understand, moving away from technology and moving us away from just commercial frameworks, is it has to start with client empathy. Client empathy means understanding an SME from the perspective of their industry, as Tunde said, the availability of their collaterals, the specific size of the SME, the number of employees, the type of departments, whether or not they have a finance team, even what are their preferred channels of interaction, be it digital or brick or mortar, and within digital, there's multiple channels. So by really understanding all of these particularities of an SME, you can, as a bank, then interact in a personalized way with an SME by using the right channel, by putting forward the right products, by doing it through the appropriate personalized customer journey, and most importantly, it's something that Tunde also mentioned, by when it comes to SME financing, by employing the right credit assessment methodology, right? Because we know that we are faced with a significant financing gap. I think Tunde mentioned 3 trillion USD. I think it was around emerging markets alone. That financing gap in large part comes from the fact that the credit risk assessment methodologies currently used by financial institutions do not match probably the long tail of SMEs, of smaller SMEs that do not qualify to the standard template of credit assessment that is currently being used by financial services institutions. So, personalization is more than just, updating your UI. It's about everything around product, customer journey, credit assessment, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to only briefly touch about how to do that because I have a technology section at the end, but it all relies on using data. So having a sound data approach and building your financial services technology stack around data is the main enabler that you need in order to deliver personalization, right? And we've seen examples from Sue and Lydia Bank as well from Tunde of what providing smaller of what personalization can achieve, right? For instance, if you approach smaller SMEs with microloan products that are available in 24 hours, that's really what they need. if you do it digitally, that's what they need. They don't necessarily want to go to a branch, right? They're not closer to the corporate side where financial products tend to be more complex and you need a more customized and complex selling process. So I will come back to the technology side of how to achieve personalization in the end, but to keep pace, I will go forward to personalization. Sorry, to automation. But before I do that, I do want to say that personalization does require, in some cases, interacting with a relationship manager. Exactly as was repeated before by Sue and Tunde. User empathy sometimes requires a relationship manager, but that doesn't have to using a relationship manager in interacting with SMEs doesn't have to turn into a cumbersome process where you have to do it every time, and you just create friction for the SME and extra cost for the bank. Moving on to automation. So, financial services institutions tend to think about automation in terms of as a cost-cutting exercise, and that that is true. It does bring that value, and it's it's good value to have automation and cut down through manual cumbersome processes and so on and so forth. But the real benefit of automation has more to do with the quality of the customer interaction. So automation means that you can go from having SMEs go through a cumbersome manual loan application process or onboarding process even, where they have to go to a branch, they have to provide documents, and then they have to wait for a loan for a time to yes for many days and many weeks at a time, just to get a yes, and then they have to wait additional weeks for getting their cash in their account, right? Automation is the concept that can shrink those times to doing an application in 5 to 10 minutes, getting a positive answer to your credit application in a matter of 10 minutes, and cutting down time to cash in 24 hours. This is something that we've been able to achieve in FintechOS, and interestingly, that's what Tunde also mentioned earlier. The 24-hour loan, and that's they're at the core of their value proposition, and it's a very, very compelling value proposition. So I would suggest to all financial services stakeholders to think about automation not as a means to cutting costs, but as a means to significantly improving SME customer experience and reducing friction in onboarding customer journeys, in lending customer journeys, and any other service-related customer journeys that SMEs undertake. As I said, benefits include fast credit decision. Tunde mentioned something that we also do, which is automated disbursements, and more importantly, automated collection. Right, as Sue said, SMEs are not, people that work for SMEs or SME owners are not, keen on spending their time interacting with banks. They are keen on spending their time working on their business. Anything that financial services institutions can do to reduce that friction and reduce that workload is going to be very well received, and is going to create stickiness and loyalty with their SME customers. And again, I think the relationship manager topic still applies, even though we talk about automation, but that's because you want to create user empathy, and that's because you want to create support for SME owners only in the instances where they need it. And also, if you combine personalization and automation in the way the relationship manager engages with SMEs, that's always a good thing to do, because if you have the right CRM tool with the right analytics, the conversation and the interaction between the relationship manager and the SME can be much smoother and much more value creating. Once again, both when it comes to personalization and when it comes to automation, data has to be at the core, right? You can only do these things the right way if your technology is truly data enabled. And on that note, I'm going to move on to talk about ecosystem integrations and value-added services. So I believe that in order to achieve both personalization, automation, and value-added services, right? The BFM, the business financial management services the industry is talking about, you need, as a financial services institution, to connect to the SME ecosystem. What does the SME ecosystem means? I'll just pick one, I'll pick one main example and walk you through it. It's something that we are doing at FintechOS. We have two technology partners in the UK. One we're actually, more deeply engaged with. They're called Codat. They connect via APIs to financial accounting tools of SME businesses, right? For those of you active in the UK market, Xero and Sage, and there's 2-3 more that probably cover 80% of the market. And then you are able, with the approval of the SME, to automatically draw down all their financial data from their financial accounting tool. You can take that data, you can look at it, you can run algorithms on it, and you have a very clear, you instantly have a very clear picture of what is the financial status of that SME. What that means is, if we talk about personalization and automation, it means you exactly know the size of that company, the type of business, the stability, so on and so forth. You can automate the way you do the credit risk assessment. You can automate the gathering of financial information. You can even automate the gathering of stakeholder information in the SME, as in who needs to sign what, basically. So you can do all of those things instantly in under a second, basically, by just connecting to their financial accounting tools, right? By doing that, not only are you able to personalize and automate traditional products, but you can come up with business financial management services for those companies, right? You can connect not only to financial accounting tools, you can connect to payroll tools, you can connect to all kinds of SaaS type of tools that SMEs use, and you can provide financial advice, you can provide financial insights, you can provide all kinds of services, all the way to HR advices. You can create marketplaces because you now understand the nature of that business, and when you put an SME on your marketplace, you can even suggest better suppliers for that SME. You can suggest that SME as a supplier for another SME on your marketplace. And this goes back to the fact that you are taking an active role in removing friction and improving business management for that SME owner who does not want to spend time on dealing too much with just financial services. You're saving time and you're providing value via data that is surfaced from the ecosystem of the SMEs. And mindful of time, I'm going to go to a simple framework of how at FintechOS we approach technology, and how we believe technology can help with the 3 pillars that we've discussed, right? Personalization, automation, and ecosystem integration for providing value-add services. So, the 3 components of our technology approach is, first of all, start out by building end-to-end financial services capabilities. This doesn't mean end-to-end in the sense of, it's all connected. It is, but, you can approach it as a module by module by module. But it means achieving that feature parity that Sue mentioned. It's very hard for financial services institutions to compete in that red ocean and keep up with what's going on. As a technology company, we're not busy running a bank, we're busy building one. And this gives us a special kind of focus. And also, we have the benefit of working with 40 plus financial services institutions. So we help all of them, but we also learn from all of them. So our goal here is to on the one hand side, achieve feature parity and have a full stack of financial services capabilities in our technology, but also to push the envelope and innovate and bring about the newest solution in the market in our technology stack. The second part of our philosophy is, everything we build with data at the core. And this doesn't just mean something as simple, well, simple is I guess an understatement, but it doesn't mean just having a centralized golden record type of database. It means connect to the, be primed to connect to the API ecosystem, and have the capability to orchestrate data flows and orchestrate also best-in-class solutions. It's not just about connecting to, Dun & Bradstreet in the UK or to the accounting tools of SMEs. It's also being able to bring in best-in-class solution providers. To give you an example, what that means, if let's say, you've connected to the SME ecosystem, you are able to draw up all financial data from an SME credit applicant. But you can also very easily integrate, AI-based technology company that does credit risk assessment using, real innovative technology. So building with data at the core, to summarize, is about, having that centralized database, but also bringing in multiple data flows, be it third-party, legacy systems, whatever it is, and orchestrate data and solutions that use data through the API ecosystem. And last but not least, I'm going to touch on something that Ken mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, where he said, I think it was 90+% of SME businesses are looking to, they believe they are shifting their business model, right, post-COVID. And the speed at which market changes and the speed at which SME preferences change is something that needs to be taken into account. What that means is digital transformation, which is already a bit of an old concept, is not a one-off exercise. Financial services institutions need a technology that allows them to be agile, stay close to customers, take feedback, and then quickly iterate, surface that feedback through new services, new products, and new customer journeys. So you need to be able to move fast and update your offering as fast as possible. For that, you need a flexible technology that allows you to do that. And our approach to that is what we call the self-service model, or in more tech terms, the no-code or low-code approach. Basically, what that means that once you have the FintechOS platform on board, if as a bank you want to update your customer journeys, you want to update your products, you want to update your channel mix, create personalization on the fly with automated customer segments, you can do all of that without using code. And that's what self-service means. The bank can self-serve through their product teams when it comes to rolling out new products and new ways of interacting with customers. And you're no longer dependent on an army of developers and external outsourcing companies that give you those armies of developers. You can do it real quick in a no-code manner, and in a matter of weeks have a new customer journeys, in a matter of days have new products out in the market, and so on and so forth. So I will stop it here, mindful of time, and invite any questions or comments if there are any.